And we're joined by Simon and Luke of Bleeding Antlers. How are you keeping, guys?
Very well.
Good.
Glad to hear it. Glad to hear it. So I first came across you guys. Obviously, I spoke to Pete about Black Spiders tail end of last year, and then he sent me across Pony, which you guys were just set to release there. How long have you guys actually been a project together, though?
It was like 2016 that we started doing stuff.
Okay.
But we have been a bit of a lazy band. We've been doing other things as well. We decided to come and do this album after doing an epic 3-disc sort of journey with Pete on his Failed Magician album. When was it now? 2 years ago? Yeah, we went in and did that like 2 years ago. Me and Luke played on that, so we had such a good time doing that. We thought, we've got to come and capture the Bleeders stuff. But 2016 was my wedding. That was the band was originally conceived as a way for us to lig our way around and go drinking and have a stag do, and it's just sort of snowballed from there.
So is that where the stag imagery comes from as such?
Yeah, it was basically we were at a beer festival and we were scoping out the venue for your wedding, right?
Yeah.
And we all got very drunk and we're discussing what to do for the stag do, and we're like, you know what? We're all musicians. Why don't we form a band and just see if we can go and play in Europe for a festival or something?
Yeah.
And that's I woke up the next day with a blazing hangover, and all the notes, it was all the messages were going back and forth, and I was like, oh, it's actually a thing. I didn't really remember the details of it, but yeah.
Was that the night with the tattoos as well? I remember waking up one day with like that little stags drawn all over me. Or was that another later point? I can't remember. But
no, I didn't.
It started out as an idea of like, let's form a band and go and play a show.
Yeah.
And then it escalated into, let's go and play a festival. Yeah, we'll go to Europe. And then at some point, the rubber masks became a thing, and the furry chaps and stuff. We were going to have prosthetic appendages at one point as well, but I think we stepped back from that. the full satyr outfit. But obviously all got a bit out of hand.
I think it was only you that wanted the phalluses. The rest of us were like, nope.
Sounds about right.
So you mentioned the album there. Obviously, that's out. Well, today came out, didn't it? So you say that you were quite relaxed in your approach to the band. Was that a collection of songs from 2016 onward sort of thing and recorded over those 4 years, or did you sit in the studio as a more restricted period of time and just bring everything together?
Originally, it was. So I was going to say it was all going to be just covers. We were going to be a cover band, and we were going to take a bunch of like famous rock songs and just play them at half speed and see if anyone noticed. Just sort of doom up things. And the original concept was more like drone. We were just gonna have a big psychedelic sort of drone out and pretend they were songs. But then when we started playing stuff, it kind of never really ended up kind of becoming a bit more structured than we'd anticipated. And then we started writing stuff. So a couple of the songs date back to 2016. Pony was one of the original songs, I think, on the night of the sort of conception of the band. I'd been banging on about wanting to do Pony in a rock cover. That was dating back from them. But Luke, you've been writing some of the songs in between. How did that come about?
Yeah, that was I don't know, they're all different. It kind of went right up into the wire, didn't it? There's one song on there that was written about 3 or 4 days before we went into the studio.
Okay.
Yeah.
I had to play bass on it because our bass player didn't even get a chance to.
All right, Ben didn't even have a chance then.
No. Well, he had a chance.
Didn't take it.
Didn't take it. No.
Yeah, well, it's been a nice organic process, I suppose. We started out with a set full of material.
Yeah.
And then me and Luke got together and sort of co-wrote some stuff in a bit more of a sort of structured deliberate way than just a sort of, you know, chucking in songs that we'd respectively written over different points. And then yeah, as you say, we got slipped in a couple of late entries under the wire, and yeah, pretty pleased with what came out at the end of it.
Oh man, like obviously Pete sent me the private link sort of beforehand when obviously so I could play Mooncalf and Pony. It's a storming out, man. You guys should be well proud of it. Like I say, there's obviously wasn't aware, like I say, I'm being honest, I wasn't aware of you guys before I'd spoken to Pete sort of thing, but when he sent across Pony, I was like, this is up my street. And then even more so with Mooncalf, and then just listen to songs off the album. Well, he sent me across the link, like I say, so I was listening to, you know, and stuff like Half Hanged Mary and Satan and Mother's Room particularly sort of sprung out to me. But
yeah, it's a weird album, isn't it? It's like a mix of genres. There's you got like a
kind of like if Ghost, Mastodon, Korn, and Alice in Chains kind of merged in a pot.
You just said a lot of my favourite bands. Like
and a lot of mine, mate. So that's why
awesome.
it rings good.
Yeah,
it's been nice. So it's been an open creative process. You know, there's never been any egos in the band, and we've never had a sort of limits about what a Bleeding Antlers sound would be. So, you know, some of the songs started out as folk songs. We all love a shanty. We all love you know, sort of traditional songs and definitely storytelling songs. So bringing in, you know, 6/8 times and those sort of rhythms and stuff into it has been really good fun. And yeah, so it's certainly eclectic in terms of its influences, and yeah, we like it like that.
Well, that's good. I mean, I think there's a lot of bands out there who I was saying this to a band I like called Fallen Mafia. They're similar in you, where there's a lot of bands out there who have a more of a melting pot, if you like, of influences. And there's bands out there that I love who you can hear straight away they love Mastodon, or they love Black Sabbath, or they love Aerosmith or AC/DC or whoever it might be. And then there's other bands where you can just, like I say, it's more of a melting pot of influences, and you can just hear elements of it here and there. And I think sometimes those bands stand out more because you can't really put them in a box. So they sort of stand out on their own sometimes. And I don't think they said never ever a bad thing, because that's how whole musical genres were formed in the first place, with people liking different forms of music and just putting it all in the soup pot, as it were.
Yeah, and we clearly grew up in the early 90s. So, you know, our musical kind of blueprint or imprint from, like, you know, our formative years and stuff kind of comes from that era, and I think that kind of, you know, clearly shines through in the style in which we like to work.
Yeah.
The golden age.
The golden age.
I think.
So, like I say, you've already released Pony and Mooncalf. You got any plans to release any other songs from the album as singles?
We haven't talked about it, but I was thinking about that today. I was thinking about maybe releasing Place of Dead Things.
Oh yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Just thought I'd bring it up now in an interview. Why not? You want to release that one?
We could do. I really wanted to put one of the 6/8 songs out. I was thinking about either Half Hanged Mary or You, Me and Oliver Reed, just because we really love that sort of that rolling shanty style.
Yeah, the free timing, isn't it? The tap 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 tap.
It's 6/8, love, but right. you don't have to play the drums.
You're not playing the drums, Luke. You don't need to know that bit, man.
You don't need to know that.
I remember, like, in the studio recording, we had a lot of issues with the click track and the producer, because we'd tell him what time signature the song was in, and then we'd start playing the song, and he'd be like, "Yeah, you guys are wrong. This is completely different."
Am I right in thinking Mike Ellis was producing the album?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, Matt did it. So we had such a good time with him up in I guess I said doing Failed Magician. It's like a little family holiday of sorts. So yeah, he was the only the only choice really for doing it. We wanted to get him to do the first single back from in 2016, but he was all booked up at that point, I think.
Oh, he's a fantastic producer though. Like, obviously with stuff with Black Spiders and bands I like Scam and all that kind of thing. I know they've worked with him. Just sound he gets is incredible, man.
Yeah.
He's great. He really knows how to squeeze out every last inch of bass from under that limiter. And he's just a hilarious fella to record with as well, as he's so dry and caustic. We spent some time compiling the best insults, and I likened it to that legendary story from when Korn were doing their first album, and Ross Robinson breaks him down emotionally in the studio and is making Jonathan Davis cry about his trauma. And I mean, that's basically what it was like for 3 weeks solid, but just all done in a Yorkshire accent. But yeah, he's pretty brutal. That's why we like to use his quote. One of my favorite quotes that we'd stuck on our sort of social media bio and stuff is like, the end of it's like, you know what, it sort of sounds a bit like Mastodon, but just if they weren't as good at their instruments.
They was full of compliments then.
Yeah.
Probably yours.
It was a great few weeks. It was good times. It's always good times to do stuff with Matt.
It's funny you say that. When I spoke to Scam lead singer Steve, when he was recording with them for their upcoming album Intra, and he was saying very similar things. So it's obviously a consistency the man has.
I remember I was recording with him. I was there for 2 days solid, just putting down guitars. And by the end of it, I was exhausted, and I was just playing this riff. And he just looked at me and went, "Yeah, there comes a point in the day where every guitarist has reached the end of their usefulness. I think you should go and get your train, mate." And I was like, yeah. But no, he is actually really good to work with. Like, he does bring out the best.
Yeah.
The best in you. I can highly recommend him.
Sometimes I know bands who have obviously recorded stuff self-producing, and sometimes that works, but I think sometimes it's good to have that extra set of ears of someone who isn't concentrating on what they're doing to try and elevate it and tweak things.
I think because with a band as well, because you've heard the songs like over and over again, it's nice to go to a producer and get their take on it, because you do get kind of tunnel vision about your own songs.
Definitely.
And you go to a producer and he'll say like, "No, that bit's not good. Take it out. Like, get rid of that verse." At first you're like, why? That's great. And then, they usually know what they're talking about.
Retrospectively, you work out that you never think that time I've been in situations where I thought, no, you don't know what you're talking about. My bass part needs to be there. It needs to be doing this. And then look back after it's been changed and gone, actually, you were right. Sorry.
They're always right. Trust the professionals.
Definitely.
So I've spent a lot of time doing home recording, and it's fine for demos and stuff, but I've never managed to make it sound, and it's great for demoing stuff. It's brilliant to be able to do that at home, but I'll never be Matt.
No. So was there any plans to go out and obviously like tour the album and support it before the whole current situation that we are in?
I mean, that's kind of why we held it off, because we recorded it at the end of September 2019.
Yeah.
And then we were going to put it out at the beginning of 2020, but then obviously COVID happened.
Yeah.
So we were like, no, do you know what? We'll sit on it for a bit, because we'd like to put it out and then go and do some gigs.
Yeah.
But when 2021 rolled around, we're like, oh, this doesn't look like it's ending right soon. Let's just put it out and,
go and play.
As soon as this is over with, then we want to get out and do some gigs.
Definitely. So have you got anything sort of lined up as such, or are you just waiting to see how the rest of the year plans?
There were a few odd gigs lined up before COVID happened, but I think once it's done with, I think it's going to be like reevaluating everything and seeing what's available.
Yeah, we did a couple of shows with Servers, and they're really good lads. And we were supposed to be doing, there was a couple of gigs sort of penciled in that got shunted because of COVID. And then, so I don't know if they'll pick up at some point. We're supposed to be going to Dublin to go and play at Necropolis Club out there. And that was all pre-Brexit and stuff, so we'll have to see what happens in terms of getting out there. And we like to play a Halloween show at the Dev down in Camden every year.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, that's our annual highlight is doing our Halloween show there, really, for us. And we're supporting the Black Heart stuff at the moment. Obviously, the Black Heart down in Camden's doing a campaign at the moment because it's facing closure. Obviously, all these venues that are our local sort of drinking establishments, as well as our gig venues, both as punters and as bands, are all having a really tough time at the moment.
Sadly.
We've got the Black Hearts doing a crowdfunder and stuff, trying to stay afloat. So we really want to have some places to go and play at the end of all of this,
Well, exactly. You say it's the grassroots venues like the Black Heart, and I know a couple in Manchester that went down as well. Places like Manchester and stuff like that. They just need rescuing. They need to survive. They need to survive, because without them, you don't get any bands of any level without your grassroots venue, because you've got no one at grassroots level who can play there to go up the ranks. So
I see, and we've lost so many over the years. With like the Astoria and all the LA2, and there's all those iconic places from our youth. There's not so many of them left now.
No, there's not a lot, sadly. Like I say, so I shared the Black Heart. I was seeing so many bands in the Black Heart, so I was gutted to see that they were having to. I know I don't like to use the term resort, but to see a venue that's that iconic and that well known and respected within the scene, has been for many years. I mean, I've been going there for God knows how many years to see bands, and then to see it, this almost could potentially wipe that out is really sad.
So it's been the home of all the doom and stoner stuff and things ever since it sort of started up, really. And they're really good guys, and they've been really good to us. We had our first show there and stuff, and they've we had our show with servers and things there, and they're always, they're really good people, really nice crew. So I've been shopping for merch. We've chucked some money into the crowdfunder and stuff. If we any merch sales we're doing this month, we'll be putting into their support them and stuff as well. So if people are able to support them, they've got a shop on the website and stuff as well. So hopefully they'll get what they need in order to stay open.
Yeah, definitely. Like you say, when this virus does subside and we are allowed to go out again and go to the gigs that we all fucking miss. See you go, Luke. You said about swearing, and I've let it go. Go to gigs that we all miss, and I think you're not going to get any quiet Tuesday night gigs for a while, shall we say, when everyone's playing midweek, and you think, I've got to work in the morning, I can't be bothered. It's just going to be. I think
that's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping that, because we've all been locked up for like a year and a half, or however long it goes on for. When gigs happen, they're going to be packed. I'm definitely going to, as soon as, because I'm lazy about gigs. Well, I was before this. It'd be a midweek gig, and I'd be like, shall I go to it? I can't be bothered. I was getting very lazy, but I think something like this really makes you appreciate not being able to go. So.
Okay, definitely. Like I say, it's the little things as well. Like, last gig I went to was playing a Rock Winners End Festival, and that was like coming up for a year ago. And to go a year without live music, for me, it just doesn't happen ever. Up until
I can't even remember what my last gig was. No idea.
So what was the last gig that you guys played?
Would have been the Dev on our Halloween show 2019, right?
2019, yeah.
Before it all happened. Yeah, because we had some gigs lined up for early 2020, and then they all got cancelled. So it was Halloween 2019. God, that seems like such a long time ago.
It was.
Yeah.
Imagine how much Ben's forgot all the songs now. Can you imagine? We're going to have to teach him the whole album from the start again. It's going to be a nightmare.
You're going to have to teach him that. I can't face doing it again. We had a funny moment here, because me and Ben used to be in a different band before, and Mother's Ruin's a recycled song from an old old band, and we were sat in the studio, and I was like, "You're playing it wrong, Ben. We've been doing this song for 10 years, Ben." It's only got 3 notes in it, Ben.
Poor Ben, getting all the jokes.
Yeah, he's not here, so he can't defend himself.
He's given up defending himself anyway. He just agrees.
accepts
It's
it.
like, yeah.
Fun
So
times.
Was Mothers Are Ruin the only recycled song as such, or was everything else written as Bleeding Antlers?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, there were some other recycled ones that kind of went, didn't just disappeared over the years.
Yeah,
got replaced with newer stuff. But a few of the songs on there were actually, I was writing them for a apocalyptic folk project.
all right.
That I was doing, which never happened. So yeah, I ended up, slapping a bit of distortion on them, converting them over to Bleeding Antlers stuff, and they worked.
Fair play.
Yeah.
So I mentioned Ghost, Mastodon, Korn, Alice in Chains earlier. If you were to say to our viewers, we're for a fan of X, Y, and Z, what would you guys say? I know it's hard because we were saying you guys more of a melting pot, but
Simon?
Oh, yeah, think about that one.
Probably.
I think for the sort of goth bit, there's a bit of Sisters of Mercy sort of stuff in there. We talked about that before. I think Alice in Chains. Someone pointed out the other week about Jane's Addiction, which I guess the kind of Ghost Pete stuff sort of fits into. But yeah, it's a mixture of that sort of. Trying to think who we can pick up. Who picks up on the shanty rhythms? A bit of Manowar.
Yeah, there's a bit of My Dying Bride in there as well. I think, like, maybe their fans might like it. I mean, I would hope like fans of like Alice in Chains and stuff, because they're one of my favorite bands, but I don't think we really sound like them.
I think there's definitely an element of Alice in Chains in your sound, though.
Yes,
I'm a huge Alice.
I like it.
I was one of the bands I mentioned, mate. I'm a huge Alice in Chains fan, and definitely in the vocal parts as well as the tones and the guitars, it's definitely that.
Yeah, it's kind of
we aspire to be like Alice in Chains and Soundgarden and stuff. I'm not sure we're hitting that high watermark, but yeah, definitely that early 90s sort of grunge thing is in our blood. And then Doom. Oh yeah, Typo Negative. I've had a few people talking about Typo on
I can see
on things. So yeah, I'd probably go for more Typo in terms of that doomy gothy bit, maybe more than Sisters.
Yeah.
We're a bit less jangly 80s goth, a bit more sludgy sledgehammer goth.
Yeah.
I like that. Sludgy sledgehammer goth.
I like that. You should put that as a tagline on the album when you come, and post it.
Dirty, sludgy sledgehammer goth.
That's going to be that's just sounds like a review that they would have got, like Spinal Tap or something.
Yeah.
We'll keep it for the second album.
Yeah.
Like shark fin soup or something.
Shit sandwich or something. So at the beginning, in fact, I was going to choose one, but fuck it, there's two. Yeah. See, Luke did it again.
Yeah, I don't have to worry. You're like a.
Yeah, I'll just have to edit myself out. It's fine. So, Simon, if you choose a song for the beginning of the interview, we'll sandwich the interview with a Bleeding Antlers song either side. Simon, you pick one for the beginning of the interview. Luke, you pick one for the end.
What's the track list? Forgotten.
It was so long ago now.
To be fair, you recorded it ages ago.
I would quite like to have Half Hang Mary on one of the ends.
Yeah, that's
I don't know. Maybe it would be a good outro.
Yeah, and should we have the Forefather as well?
That'd be a good one to go at the beginning.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, it's quite nice and heavy. Cool. Yeah, cool. That'll work.
Cool. Well, sweet. We'll go back then.
Nice.
So Have you got any plans for the remainder of the year as such?
Yeah, again, Simon doesn't know about this, but I've been thinking. I'm going to bring it up. I'm bring it up here.
That you should maybe mention plans to Simon, not in an interview situation. No, it's all good.
I'm gonna. So I think for this, what I'd like to do for this, probably by this Halloween, is release a acoustic EP.
Oh, cool.
Maybe like 4 to 6 songs.
That'd be good.
Maybe select a mixture of some acoustic versions of what we've already done.
Yeah.
And maybe a couple of new acoustic things. I was thinking like maybe we could record it DIY style as well. You know.
Give your fingers chance to recover. I mean, he says this now, Lee, but I mean, if you'd have heard the whinging that went on when we were doing the acoustic disc for the failed magician stuff, just poor little folk fingers.
It hurts. It hurts. I had calluses that were raised.
Yeah, we suffered for that.
You suffer for
so acoustic EP. I guess we need to sort out a tour, don't we, as well? Sort out a tour. Maybe one of the some festival show whenever they get back online. Probably missed the boat for this year, but you know it's not looking hopeful for the UK festivals for this year.
No, it's not.
So, weren't we talking about playing Russia as well? That was just
yeah.
We just all wanted to go there, so we were like, let's do a gig there.
Yeah. Well, need to go somewhere colder than your iceberg show. Go and do Siberia or something. We could like fight some bears, swim in some ice pools, wear big fur hats.
My last band got in the Guinness Book of Records for the first band to play on an iceberg.
All right.
But they did it just after I left.
Oh no, I forgot you weren't in that one.
Yeah, no, I wasn't. That's why I have to play somewhere colder.
Just to beat them.
Yeah. We need to, do you know what? That's what we need to do. We need to knock their Guinness Book of Records thing off. That's the goal.
That's it. Yeah, that's life goals for 2021. We're gonna, out cold the defiled. There we go.
Out cold the defiled. Trying to think where you'd have to go.
Where did they go? They went to Iceland. Was it Iceland? I can't remember.
Did I, mate? I wasn't in them.
I wasn't in it then either. I can't remember.
Just have to find somewhere colder.
Or we could go the other way and go somewhere really hot.
Yeah, I'm well up for a little trip to the Caribbean or something.
All right. Yes, that's plans.
There you go. There's the plans for the years.
Play Russia, play the Caribbean.
Play the Caribbean.
We're gonna do the extremes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. To be honest, I'd just like to play a gig again.
Yeah.
Anywhere, even if it's.
I was going to say a pub on a Tuesday night.
I was going to say a town now, and I stopped myself. I didn't want to.
Don't annoy any towns now.
Yeah, we're gonna go. We might want to go back there.
Yeah.
But yeah. So that's the plan. I think maybe acoustic EP, and then as soon as we can do some shows, get out on the road.
Yeah, presumably you've been writing the second album as well, right, Luke?
I've written a bit.
Yeah.
I have. It's the stuff I've been writing slower and doomier.
Okay.
So I don't know if it's any good, but we'll see.
Yeah, I've got a long list of half-written lyric fragments and stuff that I've been collecting during lockdown. Just need to.
I can only imagine what they are. It's like an extrovert stuck in his house, like with no attention. I can just imagine those lyrics.
I think it's going to be some good music from come out of all this, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I doubt. I've got some riffs with tapping in them and stuff, which is going to be interesting. Bit of getting a bit more 80s some shred style in there,
Oh yeah.
but maybe more by way of Gojira than by way of Eddie Van Halen or something, I suppose.
They're a band I've not seen for ages. I'd love to see Gojira again.
Yeah, really good live.
I got to support them in my last band on the.
Oh yeah.
We did the Jaeger tour with. We were opening, and it was Ghost and Gojira.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, it was amazing, and I used to go and watch Gojira soundtrack every day because they're just phenomenal musicians.
Oh, they're incredible, absolutely insane.
And I used to go down there. I was like, oh, they're sound checking. Just go and stand there and watch. It's just insane.
I remember me and my then girlfriend, now wife, she likes Gojira as well. And we were at a Sonosphere Festival. I think it was 2014 they played. And they're on quite early on in the day. And I remember it's just like dragging mates from the tents, you know, like, oh, you're going to come watch Gojira. And they're all hung over and pissed off of us for dragging us out of the tent. Oh, come. One of my mates was just too hungover to deal with them. He was just like, what was going on? I don't think he could have coped with like light at that point. So I don't think he could have coped with the technicalities of Gojira, but we still dragged them along anyway.
I think festival hangovers are worse, aren't they, than regular hangovers, I find.
It's normally because you've not had enough sleep to work it off, though, have you? Because someone's fallen on your tent. Or...
Yeah.
Thinking about festivals, it made me think of bands that for fans of, you'd like us. Be like Mastodon, Rammstein, Alice in Chains, Gojira. If you like this sort of spread of stuff, and Typo Negative.
Yeah.
Is that your wish list?
My wish list, yeah.
Is that who you wish we sounded like?
Yeah, I don't know what brought it on. I brought on the memory of like of when you're talking about festivals of being backstage. I don't remember if it was Sonosphere or Download, but it was a fairly apocalyptic year, like 2010, I think maybe, and Rammstein had played, and I was too
I was there.
Too scared to go and talk to him. I was like, you know, didn't have the stones to do it. So I sent Pete over him, but we were fairly well lubricated at that point. And Pete went over and Till just went, "Excuse me, I'm having a conversation." We were like, staggered off with our arms full of stolen beer that we'd taken from the free beer bit. And the other thing it made me think was Kim Tal when we played with MC50.
Oh yeah.
We were like backstage and just all bumped into him backstage and was just like, I haven't been starstruck very often, but like I was just totally like, oh my god, you're like Kim from Soundgarden. In my little somewhere in my little teenage brain was just like totally short circuited by this.
Oh, he came out and watched a sound check. Did you notice?
Yeah, I saw.
Yeah, because I was playing and he just came up to the stage and was just watching me play. And as soon as I noticed him, I just went. Just
to be fair, Kim Tower Hill were coming on and watching you play guitar. That's going to put some pressure on you, man.
Yeah, I fucked it. I was just like, and then he just left, and I was like, oh man. Yeah, I drummed because that was with Failed Magician, wasn't it? And our drummer was only 18.
All right.
And he didn't know who any of them were. Like, oh, look, that's the dude from Faith No More. And he was like, who's Faith No More? And we were all just like, oh my god. Oh my god.
I think one of my favourite moments watching Faith No More, that was Download 2009 when they just like came back. And I didn't get to see Faith No More first time around, so I couldn't wait to see him. And there was quite a lot of sort of 17, 18-year-olds all trying to act like the biggest Faith No More fan in the area where we were, sort of thing. And they're playing, Faith No More on stage, and they didn't know any lyrics. And fair enough, if you just heard the name of a band and you're going, I don't know who they are, but they're on, so I'm going to go watch them. I never have a problem with that. What always, I don't say annoys me, but sort of I laugh at is when people always try and make out they know a band a lot more than they do. And there's nothing wrong with it. I've gone and watched bands that I don't know.
Yeah.
If someone's gone, Lee, you should go check them out, or purely because no one on the other two stages is on that I like, so I've grabbed a beer and gone over there and just checked out. And there's nothing wrong with that. But when people try and make it out that they're the biggest fan ever because they've, in the case of Faith No More, probably heard Epic, and that's about it. And so they're all quite silent and all the rest of it. And then Faith No More did a cover of Lady Gaga's Poker Face.
Oh, nice.
And it was brilliant. I was stood there going, this is fantastic. And they did it how they done Easy. They just did a straight cover of it. They didn't Faith No More it. They just did like a straight cover. And everybody's like singing along and enjoying themselves and enjoying it for what it was. This guy was near me. He's probably only about 18. And he hadn't clicked into what song it was. All he clicked into was that he knew those lyrics from somewhere in his remit. He knew it. Yeah. So he started singing along to like the verse and sort of sing along with Mike Patton. And we're all singing along and enjoying and going, this is fantastic. There's a proper Faith No More thing to do this. And then when he got to the chorus, this lad suddenly realised that he was singing a Lady Gaga song. And immediately got really annoyed with himself. He went from like sing along and then he was just like, oh, for fuck's sake. Like, 4 seconds ago, you were enjoying it. Like,
Camry.
Yeah, pretty much. You're like, no one in this field is like sitting here going, oh, I'm a huge Lady Gaga fan, but we're all singing along and having a laugh. So don't worry about it, mate.
I like that song. I think Poker Face is a good song.
Yeah, it was good.
Right, when I saw Alice Cooper, he did a cover of Born This Way. That was quite cool. Yeah. Did a real riffed up garage rock version of Born This Way. Worked really well.
That's it. But yeah, we need rock cannibalizing more pop songs. So I like Pony's an amazing track. I mean, there was some great stuff came out of 90s hip hop and R&B.
Yeah, there was. That's the thing. I think I like loads of different sorts of music, and and some people don't, and some people like some people just like this or just like that, and that's fine if that's what you like. Yeah. But it just always sort of astounds me when people go, you'll go, have you heard this? And I go, oh, I don't like that. And they're like, but you've not listened to it. Yeah, but I don't like that type of music. But you might like that song. Have you heard it? Yeah. Like my mate when I was at uni, my housemate Ben, he was a huge My Chemical Romance fan. I wasn't. Never been my cup of tea. Just personal taste. And I was in his room once. He was coming from lectures and stuff, and he was studying in his door open. So as you do, just in the corridor having a chat. And I can't remember what song it was now. I think it was called Teenagers or something like that. And anyway, he had this song playing, and I've gone, Ben, who's this? He's going, you're going to hate yourself. And I'm like, why? He went, it's My Chemical Romance. And I'm like, it's a good song. Not good enough for me to go buy an album or, go see him live, but,
No, a good song is a good song,
exactly.
Regardless of the genre. Like, I like all sorts. I like metal and rock, obviously, but I listen to a lot of hip hop.
Yeah.
I listen to some folk stuff, like some pop stuff. Just a bit of everything.
Yeah. I always remember
we're too old to be being precious these days.
I always remember when I was at uni, Public Enemy played the UEA when I was studying up there. And like you, I like a lot of old school. I love hip hop as well. So when Public Enemy were playing, there was me and my mate Adrian and my mate Dave, and we're like, we've got to go watch Public Enemy. Like, we've just got to. And we're like, great, we'll go. And we went in. Don't get me wrong, it's Norwich, so it was an all white crowd.
Yeah.
But there was a lot of lads who clearly into hip hop, but they probably liked more like 50 Cent and Eminem and Jay-Z, and probably hadn't listened to much Public Enemy, but they knew the name and they were going to go, fine. But we walked in and we were probably the ones there who weren't wearing like dude rags and stocking caps. We saw, I think the closest we had like a link to Public Enemy and what we were wearing was that my mate Adrian was wearing an Anthrax t-shirt. I think that was the closest link we had in sort of like clothing that we had to, and we walked in, we're all just, I had hair then, so it was long, but we all had long hair, piercings, tattoos on show, jeans, t-shirts. And we walked in and you could see all these wannabe gangsters sort of like looking at us going, what are they doing here? They can't be here. And then Public Enemy started and we were probably rapping along more than they were. And you could see them sort of going, what? But he's got a AC/DC t-shirt on. What's he doing rapping? And you're like, yeah, because rap and rock have never merged. Have you ever heard of Rage Against the Machine?
Funny, when I think I was maybe 10 or something, and I got hold of a copy of NWA Straight Outta Compton.
Oh, nice.
And I learned all the lyrics, and my mum, my mum was horrified. It's like, yeah, just in primary school singing Straight Outta Compton.
In Devon. Mean streets of Devon.
I listened to that, and I was listening to that and Appetite for Destruction by Guns N' Roses.
There you go. It's a lethal combination, NWA and Guns N' Roses.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah, they were mind-blowing albums, and that that bit around 1994, whenever it was, the first Rage Against the Machine album came out. That was amazing.
There's still one band I'd love to see. I've not seen Rage yet, and I'm hoping. Well, they were supposed to be doing some shows last year, weren't they? So I was hoping I got to see them. But
I've never seen them either. But yeah, I'd love to.
No, me either.
No, my
Definitely
wife
feel like I'm missing out on that.
No, my wife had seen them a couple of times since they did this sort of Reformation stuff, but I was at uni at the time and skint and couldn't afford to go. So
Yeah, Tom Waits, I really regret having not gone to go and see him when he did those shows up in Glasgow a few years ago, because we missed a boat on that. Bowie at Glastonbury as well, that was.
I'd love to have seen Bowie.
Missed out on that.
It's the thing, though, isn't it? At the time, you just think, "Oh, I'll see them next time round."
Yeah.
And then eventually, there isn't one.
Yeah. That's the thing. Like, Tom Waits is my favourite artist. I don't know if he's ever going to come back to the UK, which is just gutting.
Yeah.
He's probably got to that point though, now, has he, where he's probably just going to stay touring, where he resides now in his career and doing what he does. He's someone
Leonard Cohen. When Leonard Cohen did his last tours, but just before he died, I went to go and see him. I think it was at Birmingham or one of the big arenas, and it was hands down one of the best shows I've ever seen. He's like 83 years old, twisting and dancing and stuff. Pitch perfect, really rich baritone, like oozing charisma. Just owned the stage. Obviously, some of the best musicians in the world playing with him. There's no fancy lights show. There's no lasers. There's no strobe. There's no smoke machines. It's just these incredible, musicians. And it was really captivating, really stunning.
That was the same when I saw James Brown supporting the Chili Peppers, which was ridiculous because I wasn't sure why he was supporting, to be honest. Because he wasn't even earmarked on the ticket. It was just Chili Peppers and special guests. It was when they did the Hyde Park shows in 2004. And I was with my dad and we went down and they had this awful opening act. They were horrendous, like that bad. I think the whole of Hyde Park were trying to bottle them. I don't know where they found this. I can't remember the name of them now. They were dreadful. And they sort of I think they were supposed to have like 40 minutes or whatever and left the stage within 10 minutes. And they'd done 2 nights, the Saturday and the Sunday. I went on the Sunday. A friend of mine had gone on the Saturday. And he later told me that the exact same thing had happened on the Saturday when he was there. The same band they were dreadful. Anyway, this announcer guy comes in and he's like, "Oh, well, the second act's going to come now on and do a longer slot." And everybody's going, "Well, I don't care who it is. They're going to be better than this." And this rumor had sort of gone around Hyde Park that it was James Brown. And everybody's going, "Well, why would James Brown be supporting? He could fill Hyde Park on his own. Like, what? He won't be the support act." Anyway, the band comes on and they're all in the suits and all that with JB on the lapels, and we're going, "I think it is." And he must have been 70, 71 then, and he was fantastic. He was absolutely blinding. I mean, we did get a bit worried more so when he did the fake heart attack thing, but you could see people sort of going, "Oh shit," and then going, "Oh no, hang on, it's part of the show." But he was fantastic. He was amazing.
Amazing.
Simon, there's a mutual friend of ours who I won't mention on the name on the show, but like, do you not ever say anything about what you said about Leonard Cohen in front of her? I'll tell you who it is after, because I made us not go to that. And that was the last show before he died, and she's like a massive Leonard Cohen fan.
And she's still not forgiven him.
No. She was like, "I can't believe you made us not go to that, and then now he's gone." And like, I was like, probably wasn't that good anyway. And then you went, "Do you know what? It's one of the best shows I've seen." I was like, "Oh God." I'm in so much trouble.
Here's one of those ones where you're just like, "I'm sure it wasn't that great," and then someone goes, "Oh, it was amazing,"
Yeah.
One of the other bands that really surprised me was The Cure. When I went to see when 65 Days of Static were playing with them at, I think it was the O2 or one of those big places. And they were amazing. They came on and they played for like 3.5 hours or something. And they're amazing. And obviously, again, they're not, it's not a high energy sort of,
No.
show. It's just them and the music. And I'm notoriously short of attention span. I find it difficult to watch a whole headline set of a band unless I really like it. After about half an hour, I'm like, I want to go and have a sit down. But yeah, I stood and watched like all 3.5 hours of it, and they were amazing.
I must admit, they're on my list. I mean, I'm more a fan of the sort of darker side of the Cure, stuff like, Pornography and 17 Seconds and Disintegration and stuff like that. But
yeah,
Pornography is an amazing album.
Fantastic album.
Yeah, it's just classic.
Yeah,
that's my favourite Cure album by a long way.
It'd be a toss-up between that and Disintegration for me, but I think on balance, I probably would have to go Pornography.
Yeah, Disintegration is good, but yeah, Pornography is just, and I think maybe it's nostalgia as well for me. Like this, it connects to a certain time in my life that was really good.
No, apparently they've been working on new material there, and apparently I read an interview with Robert Smith, and he was saying it was sort of a he felt like it was more of a continuation from 17 Seconds and Disintegration and Pornography than it was anything else. So it'd be interesting to see what they come out with that, because those are like my favourite 3 Cure albums he mentioned in the interview. So.
Yeah.
Keep the bleakness going.
Oh yeah, there's nothing wrong with a bit of bleakness.
The first line of Pornography is, "Doesn't matter if we all die," isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, isn't it? Yeah. I just don't remember that.
Great start to an album. Just set the tone in the first line.
Set the tone in the first lyric, yeah. Why not?
I remember reading an interview with him talking about afterward, like reflecting on it afterwards, and he was like, we can't make another album like that because we're all going to die. Like if we try and do this again.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw it. There was an amazing clip that went around. I can't remember if it was last year or the year before. It was probably the year before because there wasn't any award shows last year, was there? But he's at some award show, there's some music awards, and they got given I don't know if it was the MTV Awards or something like that, but they got given their icon award sort of thing. And he's going along the red carpet, and they've got one of these sort of overly enthusiastic sort of American music journalists who clearly just didn't know who they were. But it's doing the whole thing, and she's there going, "Oh my God, Robert, are you as excited as we are to receive this award?" And he just looks at her and goes, "No." It's amazing. She's going, "Yeah, apparently I'm not. No, you seem far more excited than I am." And she just sort of goes, "Ah."
Yeah, I've seen that. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's fantastic. It's absolutely brilliant. I love it though. I love it when there's stuff like that. I'm not a journalist by any means. I'm a rock fan with a radio show, simple as that. Because I get to, chat yourselves and chat to other bands, and I love it. But it's when people chat to someone. It goes back to what we were saying earlier about, people watching bands and trying to make out they're the biggest fan or whatever. There's nothing more boring to me, both as someone who gets to do this for my radio show and used to, as just a general rock fan, when you see an interview and they are just asking the same stock generic question. You get it download on the tellies, and they ask the same band the same questions, and you're like, oh, for God's sake, just read something, listen to a song, or do something. There was one this she was on the screen to download one, and it had me in stitches because it was she was interviewing Biff Byford, a Saxon.
Yeah.
And Biff could have let this go, but he was just like, you could see it in his eye going, no, I'm not going to let that go. And obviously, it's Biff, it's Saxon, the back of Donny and all that sort of thing. So what she means to ask is, will you be playing, and the band's played on, that you wrote about the first Monsters of Rock? Because she's not really bothered or interested, she goes, oh, will you be playing and she's really enthusiastic, a bit like that American report. And she goes, oh, will you be playing the Saxon classic, and the band went on? And he went, no, we've not got a song called that. And she went, yes, you have. You wrote about this. He went, no, that's and the band's played on, not and the band went on. And she's just like, oh.
Well, I haven't really run into that in my musical career because I'm pretty much banned from doing interviews. So.
You've been pretty well behaved today, haven't you?
I know, it's because I'm older now.
Calm down.
I'm not a massive dick anymore.
Less degenerate in your old age.
You're saying about, like, you know, slagging off towns earlier. My mate did it. He did that. He was doing an interview with somewhere, and he would just, can't remember what they went. I think it might have been Manchester. They did a gig in Manchester. And they had like a really, it wasn't really the venue or anything's fault. It was just one of those gigs that no one turned up, and the people who did turn up were looking in the opposite direction, and that kind of thing. Just the way it went that particular night. And yeah, he did an interview. And he's just there going, yeah, it was fucking shit. I never want to play again, and blah, blah. And then the singer's going, we're going back there in 6 months. The first time I went up to Manchester was a mate's band. They were playing up there. There was that thing, like, we're playing Manchester. And I'm like, do you need a roadie? It's a night out. I'll come. But they're playing out, I can't name the bar, but it was on Canal Street, like the gay street in Manchester.
Yeah.
And my mate Chris got really annoyed with us because afterwards we were playing some rock pub on Canal Street. I can't remember the name of it now. So you're confused now. But my mate Chris, he's I'm not going to air this. But Chris isn't gay. He's not homophobic either. Well, I mean to say he's not homophobic, but he gets quite overthinking if he's in a scenario. Like, he wouldn't have an innuendo and a bit of a joke. Like, he's not comfortable with that at all. And we managed to get a photo of him outside in the road, right where the street sign was. But someone on one of the stripes for Canal Street, because it's where all the gay pubs are, was like, chipped the C off the sign. So it just reads Anal Street. And we've got a photo of Chris, sort of double thumbsy in it, because he's having a good night, with anal just above his head. And he went mental at us, because we, like, you know, Facebook, and it just all went, right, there you go, there's the notes on the gig. And there's Chris like this, with just like anal above his head. He went fucking berserk. We all got phone calls within about 2-3 minutes of it being posted. You need to take that off. It's not funny. Yes, it is, and we're keeping it on.
Yeah, in my old band, we signed up our bass player left his phone in the bus, and we signed him up to Grindr. The thing is, he never said anything about it. Like, we were waiting for some sort of backlash, but no, either didn't rise to it, or he just carried on Grindr.
Yeah, I made some friends.
Oh. All right.
Is there anything else you guys want to mention? Obviously, I'll edit this bit out and look clever.
Yeah, edit out all the bits of us going.
Yeah.
Do you want to say just a bit about the album, where you can get it, Simon?
Yeah, sure.
Like,
so yeah, Stagmata is out now, all digital outlets. You can buy it on Amazon and iTunes and whatnot, and it's streaming on Spotify and Apple Music and all the other ones. So yeah, follow us on Spotify. You can find us on all social media. We've got some videos up on YouTube. And yeah, keep in touch with us online. There'll be more things coming later in the year.
Well, cheers, guys. This has been an absolute pleasure. Thanks for chatting to us.
Yeah,
Thanks for having us on.
No worries. Cheers, guys.
Cheers.